These theories will make you question everything. Remember, this is for entertainment purposes only.
28 girls hospitalized after playing with Ouija boards at their school in Colombia.
Hey, you remember it, don't you? The girls had signs of an anxiety attack. The school's apparently waiting for a diagnosis before providing further information here. But it is worth noting that one mom said her kids always have a good breakfast and the fainting was not due to a lack of food. This isn't the first time this has happened in a Colombian school. Back in November, 11 teenagers collapsed after using a Ouija board at another school in Colombia. It was later reported that at least 5 of them had suffered from food poisoning there. I won't do it to you.
Maybe just don't use Ouija boards.
Yeah.
On a different note, a board game sold on Amazon, the online shopping giant, claims to let people communicate with God. But as one exorcist warns, it is extremely dangerous and could lead to the exact opposite outcome. The so-called Holy Spirit board is similar to a Ouija board, but it is advertised as a Christian religious talking board and comes complete with a so-called magic cross to spell out messages and displays artwork of the crucifixion, angels, and a dove. And
28 girls hospitalized after playing with Ouija boards at...
Are you serious right now? And what gets me, you know what gets me though? Is that you could walk down a regular kid's toy aisle somewhere and see one of these boards in the little game area. It's either down the kids' aisle or around the kids' aisle. That's the part that gets me about these Ouija boards, fam. Like you could just casually walk down a toy area or aisle or gaming area and just pick one up like it's nothing. Like it's nothing. Like that's the part that really irks and scares me, man. You see what's happening to people? And they just sit up here just laughing about it like, ha 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 ha. No, fam, I don't play around with stuff like that.
This family from Mexico was able to record this terrifying video of this girl after she was acting extremely strange. This was after the family did some research. They found out the girl was playing the Ouija board. Here is the video. Pay close attention.
Simón, le bajas al baño, ¿eh? Me baja. Que si no tienes güey, ya te tardaste chido. Vamos a seguir
This family from Mexico was able...
Fam, I knew they was gonna try to make my soul lift out of my body. I knew they were gonna try to, bro. And I was bracing myself. Y'all can't tell, but I was bracing myself for some type of jump scare or something to come around the corner or them to look up. Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you. This type of stuff y'all want going in your house, keep playing with them Ouija boards, man. Keep asking for it. Keep inviting things into your home. I feel like that's what that board kind of does. It opens that door and we don't know how to close it back. Keep playing around, man. No, sir.
I hope it's not nighttime wherever you are, because this story is why I no longer touch Ouija boards. Mistakes were made. Quick disclaimer, this happened about 7 or 8 years ago when I was a dumb 17-year-old, so some of the details are a little bit fuzzy, but the important parts are floating around in there. It was a dark and stormy evening. Just kidding, it was like the middle of the day in the suburbs, and 2 of my friends asked me to come over to one of their homes because one of them had a Ouija board, but every time she used it, only one thing would come through. And that thing called itself Mama. So I was the weird, creepy friend of the group who was into tarot and supernatural ghosts and ghouls and all of that, so they invited me over so that I could try to use the board and maybe give them my input on what I thought was going on and who this mama was. So knowing almost nothing but thinking I knew everything because I was 17, I went over to their house and we used the Ouija board. I will say, we followed all the rules and we took it very seriously. We never treated it like a joke, but I was less protected than I would like to be nowadays. So I began the session by stating we were ready and willing to communicate respectfully with any present spirits, and that if they wanted to make their presence known, they could move the planchette to yes. Almost immediately, the planchette, straight to yes. Now, if you've ever used boards before, you know that that's kind of unusual unless one of your friends is messing with you and moving it themselves. It normally takes a while to get going once you put that message out there, kind of like your matches on Tinder. But it shot straight to yes, so I followed up by asking, what is your name? And it's spelled M-A-M-A, Mama. Immediately, I got this tingly feeling that was not great, and the air felt kind of heavy and staticky. I don't know if my friends were feeling it, but I was. But they kind of had looks on their faces like they were maybe feeling it, or they were just really creeped out. The way I describe the energy is like if you've ever been around when something really bad happened, like somebody broke a bone or got hit by a car, both of which have happened right in front of me. You know the feeling in the air is like charged electrically with a really icky feeling. It was exactly that feeling. So I started asking more questions. How old are you? How did you get here? Did you live here? Etc. And a lot of the answers I'm getting, I'm feeling kind of bullshit. I can't describe it. It was just a feeling I had. Another thing to note was that when it wasn't actively answering a question, the planchette was moving in figure eights. I then asked if any other spirits were present, and it said yes. I asked how many, and it said either 3 or 4. I don't remember the exact number, but I do remember that the answer was yes. So I said, will you let any other spirits communicate? And it immediately jumped to no. I'm sensing whatever this is extremely controlling and overbearing, and it's been lying. At some point, I was feeling a little brave, and I decided to ask, how old are you really? It paused, and the planchette slowly moved to 0. I hope it's not nighttime wherever you are, because this story...
Nah, I would have asked straight up, like, whose mama are you? You know what I mean? And that's the thing, like y'all know in the form of certain, in these spirit forms and different things like that, there's a lot of deceiving and deception going on, right? Possibly, right? So how do you know? Even if you, like myself, don't lost your mom and you get on one of these boards to try to make contact, what if you think you're talking to your mom, but you're really not? Whatever your spirit you've made contact with is deceiving you. What if that's the case? And then you thinking it's your mom and you ask for something and it tells you to do something and that was never your mom in the first place. Like, no, I'm not playing with this. That stuff will get you emotionally drawn in. Like, did y'all parents let y'all play with this board? And then I got another question for y'all. What was some of the craziest things it said to you or responses that it gave you? Put it in the comment section. What did your board say to you? I want to know. I know it's just been some crazy stuff. And did you, once it freaked you out, did you ever return to play that game? Because my fear is that most people will say no, which also lends to me thinking, y'all didn't properly close that door. Freaky, right?
If you have not heard about the 28 girls that were hospitalized after using a Ouija board, you should...
I'm sorry, but I'm 100% a believer in these kind of things. I honestly have only touched a Ouija board twice, and I will never, ever do it again. It didn't end too badly, but let me tell you what happened. So it was my freshman year of college, and I was going to university in Boston, Massachusetts, and basically Boston is like known for being super old. It's got a lot of really old buildings, some old brownstone buildings that just date back really, really far. So basically what happened was I was living in a room with 3 other girls. So there was 4 of us in total, and we were sleeping in bunk beds in this really old, lofty style brownstone building. Even though I lived with 3 other girls, there was times where I would be alone in the room. However, every single time I would never feel like I was actually alone in the room. You know that kind of feeling you have with just, you can feel like another person? Like it felt like that all the time, even though I was completely alone in the room. Also, as it was my first time ever living away from home, I just remember being like really homesick, but whenever I was in my room, I just felt like really comforted, if that makes sense. Like just imagine walking into a room that smelled like fresh baked cookies all the time. Like it just was that warming and inviting whenever I just stepped into my room. Nowhere else in the building, like not when I was around anywhere else, only when I was in that room. And I thought that was just a really weird feeling to have. So one day, me and my roommates were in our room talking about ghosts and everything, and just like talking about the existence or possible existence of ghosts, when all of a sudden in our bathroom that was attached to our room, all of the suction cups that we had on the wall that were holding up like our like showering, loofahs and stuff, all popped off one after the other. They went pop, 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 and we were like, what the frick was that? And sure enough, when we opened the bathroom door, they had all just sprung off the wall in quick succession, and I was like, that's seriously really freaking weird. Then another day, me and my friend were literally just sat in the room when all of a sudden her makeup, like her eyeliner and mascara, started rolling off of her dresser. Again, there was like no wind or anything like that, and nobody had touched the dresser. Nobody had even moved. But all of a sudden they started rolling off the dresser, and we were like, what the frick is that? But let me tell you what happens next. In our room when we were sleeping, we actually had Christmas lights up all around the top of the ceiling. So basically, it was quite bright in there. It was very well lit. You were able to see at night, but it was still a bit dim. So basically, one night, one of my roommates said she was going to wake up early and straighten her hair before she went to class. And I was like, okay, fair enough. So we went to bed that night. Again, the Christmas lights are on all night. And I wake up in the middle of the night and roll over. And I look at her desk and there's somebody sitting in her chair in the dark in the Christmas lights. Okay, go to part 2.
If you have not heard about the 28 girls...
No, I don't need to go to part 2. No, you got a new roommate. What you think playing? That was your gift. That was your surprise with playing with the Ouija board. You got a new roommate. Yeah. Get comfortable. Get comfortable. Listen, man. I'm just saying, bro. Y'all be inviting these things in. Inviting. I'm pretty sure there are a ton of stories out there of people who have never been right ever since they played with a Ouija board. I know it. I just feel it, fam. I feel it. And I would like to see her part. I might go to a part 2 of hers because I want to hear how did it progressively get worse. Yeah, you got a new roommate. That spirit's there to stay. She's going to follow you all throughout college now. You know what I'm saying? All throughout college.
If you've ever used a Ouija board before or you're considering using one, hear me out. There's nothing wrong with using a Ouija board. If you want to use one, use it. You are safe and they're perfectly fine to use. It's no different than any other divination tool like tarot, pendulum, or dowsing rods. If you've ever used a Ouija board before or...
No, I'm not subscribing to that theory. No. No, anybody just gonna tell me to use it? It seems like you're in cahoots. You're along with it. No, you want to see destruction and the stuff happen. No, thank you, bro. Come on, nah. This dude kind of reminds me of like Charles Lee Ray from the Chucky movie. Anyway, I'm definitely not taking nothing he say. No.
In 2019, I started using the Ouija board a lot, and something bad did happen. Some people say using this board opens a gateway to the other side. You never know what you're going to pull through. Yeah, maybe that's true, and this is the story about what happened to me. I decided that as a way to have fun and engage with my followers, I would play the Ouija board live. I did this every single Friday for about 6 weeks straight, plus some sessions in between. The strangest things started happening. We started hearing family members in the house that weren't presently home. One day I had left the house and I was down the block and my phone rang and my wife called and she said, "Scott, where are you?" I said, "I'm in the car." And she said, "So you're definitely not downstairs, right?" I said, "No, absolutely not." She said, "Okay, because I just heard you calling me from downstairs." And that's just one example of the several times we were mimicked in the house. Do you have a similar story? In 2019, I started...
Don't you answer. Don't you? She did the right thing, bro. The right thing. I wonder what happens if you answer, you acknowledge it, you go towards it. What happens? Like, no, fam. I don't know what inside you makes you... It's something inside you that tells you, nah, something ain't right here. It's that feeling. Like, you know how women have women intuition? Like, that's probably what she had right then and there. Her women's intuition that she trusted. And I'm glad she did. Lord only knows what would have happened if she would have answered and went down there.
You should never leave a planchette unattended on a Ouija board. Even if you're just stepping away for a few seconds, it's not safe to leave it there. Leaving the planchette on the board is considered to be bad luck and dangerous. When the planchette is left on the board, the door to the paranormal remains fully open. This leaves a window for spirits to come in and communicate however they want and actually use the board to come through to our world. If there are any malicious entities in the room, they can also use this as an opportunity to cause harm. Situations like this can turn out to be extremely unpredictable and dangerous. You should never leave a planchette
See, this is what I was talking about. Not even understanding and knowing all the proper rules to this board. How many people, how many of y'all have left that thing on the board and didn't think twice about it? Now, what have I been asking? Like, how do you close that door? So leaving that on the board could potentially leave that door open, and they just got free reign to come in and out and do things. See what I've been saying that, man. And that's the first time I've actually heard that. So even when I played with it back in the day, I'm pretty sure we might have left that thing on the board. On the board. Oh my goodness.
A company is selling a Christian Ouija board to talk directly to Jesus. A company is selling a...
Yeah, y'all crazy, man. y'all are crazy. Like, who, y'all are really gonna buy that? I know some of y'all are currently looking up. Y'all are seriously gonna buy that? Saying you can directly talk to Jesus? What happened to the old-fashioned way of just getting your Bible out and communicating like that? Or through prayer? What happened to that? No. How are they even allowed to put something like this out? How? Like, this is the thing that it just baffles me, that this could even hit the shelves and there's an opportunity for people to even play around like this. No, thank you.
So this is my second time trying to tell this story. I'm not going to do all those cuts and fancy thing that people on TikTok do. I'm just going to tell the story. So when I was 18 or 19, I was with my mom. I'm from a small city in Illinois, southern Illinois, basically. And we were riding around one day and we happened to come across this yard sale. So she wanted to stop and I said, okay, let's go see what they got. So we get there and you can tell everything that had been laying on the table, everything was basically covered in like a fine layer of dust. So either it was in an attic or a garage or something, I don't know. But I was looking on the tables and I saw an Ouija board. It was fully intact. It had, on the inside of the box, it had the board and the planchette. So I asked my mom if I could have it and she said yeah. And so took it home. Fast forward to maybe 6 months. I never opened it, by the way. So fast forward 6 months, I get my own place, I box it up, and I put it in the utility closet. Fast forward another 3 months, I finally remember that I have the Ouija board. So I was already out. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna stop and pick up like this cheap bottle of vodka and I'm gonna go home and play with the board. So I get home and remind you, I had stored my box in a utility closet. Mm-hmm. So I opened up the utility closet and I guess the water heater that was in it had leaked or something, but I had it stored in just a regular cardboard box. Completely soaked the box and everything that was in it, including the Ouija board. Completely warped the board. It was ruined. I couldn't use it, so I had no choice but to throw it away.
Yes.
Well, next day I call out maintenance to have them come look at the water heater because I don't want it to continue to leak. And they come out. They open up the utility closet. They poke around, look around. They said that they couldn't find a leak. So I don't know, was it some sort of intervention or something?
Yeah.
Because like I said, I had a bottle of liquor and I was ready to go. So this is my second time
Somebody was looking out for her. She had a guardian angel over her. Somebody was watching out for her, man. That right there alone should show you. Don't play around and mess around with these Ouija boards, bro. I just knew this was about to be a bad story because now you got alcohol involved. So you finna go home. You about to get nice. You about to get nice. So you gonna ask it all kind of questions. You gonna pour your heart out to it. You gonna do things that you probably would never be able to come back from once you open those doors. And something saved her. Saved her. I hope she never ever went back. I hope she never ever thought about playing with this thing again. That was her opportunity, man, and somebody saved her. Listen, bro, y'all get at me in the comment section, man, and let me know y'all bad experiences with the Ouija board, all right? What's the craziest thing it ever responded back to you after you asking it a question? Put it in the comment section. And stick around and stay tuned, man. Till next one, I'm gone. Peace.